one.
Do you two chat just every week? Do you just sort of
No,
get
no,
in
no.
touch with him? You just, do you ever
What
take him out
day?
for dinner?
No, no.
All right, welcome to a long time ago. We are back this week with another Making the Grade. This is part 14 of the series where Martyn travels the country, kind of, but mostly scours the internet to pick up the original Star Wars Kenner 96 action figures in graded form. Episode 13, we managed to speak to the awesome Drew from Collector Displays. Go back and watch that one if you haven't already. But he's the man behind that epic display cabinet behind Martyn right there, you can see. So yeah, that's what he's using to display his graded run of figures so far. I also mentioned last time out that the average cost per figure after reaching 54 figures, I think it is
54 so far, yeah.
Now £91.30. But there's been a development, hasn't there, Martyn?
There has been a development. Long-time viewers of this series will know that I had a bit of a blip midway through. I think it was like episode 7 or 8, I think, and episode 8 always seems to be a bit of a blip, don't they?
Yeah.
But I ended up buying a Jedi Knight Luke with a blue lightsaber in one of the episodes, and everyone knows that's my holy grail figure. I always wanted that as a kid with the blue saber, and I finally got it graded. And then the following week, I came across another one, and I bought a second one, one with the snap cape, one with just the hooded cape that just pops over the top of the head. And I got the second one for £140, and it was a UKG 85%. And £140, everyone was telling me, "Oh, Martyn, that was a bargain. That was a bargain." And having looked at my finances and realizing quite recently how much this is actually going to cost me to do, I decided, and as painful as it was, I decided to part ways with that second Luke Skywalker. I kept my AFA graded one, but sold on the other blue Luke Skywalker. And I purchased it for £140 originally, and I actually managed to sell it for £210. So
wow. So that is a good bargain, yeah. It was a bargain, and then you've made a bit back off of it.
Exactly. So hopefully when we do next episode and we redo the averages, it will slightly go down, but then I've remembered what we're actually going to be talking about this episode, so actually scratch that.
Yes. Well, I did add that to your total figure because I thought, you'll remember at the time, hopefully, that I said, well, that is an extra graded figure, even if it's part, not one of the 96 because you've already got it. I still added it to your total.
You did.
So I will take it off. And at the end of this episode, obviously, I'll refresh the scoreboard and remove that. But as we've said, you've documented 54 figures in the series so far. And today you've got 5 more to show us. So let's get going.
Yeah, I have a good selection. I have 4 last 17 figures this week.
Which, that's why your average is going to go up.
Yeah, and I also, well, we'll do them one at a time. So the first one I picked up was a 1984 Paploo the Ewok figure. So no COO, and it's UKG graded 85%. And that one cost me £135, which, looking at sales prices, is a pretty good bargain. I mean, it's not a mega bargain, but it's a pretty good bargain.
It's not bad.
I'm sure you'll probably see in the videos I speak, but again, I got it from Another League Toys. Shocker, I know. I tend to get most of them from them, but it's such good quality. It looks amazing. It's well worthy of an 85%. And it also actually represents the second Paploo figure I got, because I've actually got a carded Paploo figure, original carded Paploo figure. I mean, you can't see on the screen, but the card is pretty battered.
Oh, really? It doesn't look it.
Yeah, no, it looks pretty good from a distance, but we've got a really cool Anakin Skywalker Alpha on there. But I must admit, I learned something. Obviously I collected all these as a kid, but I'm learning as we do these episodes. And I always assumed the last 17 came on either first a Tri logo card and then on a Power of the Force card. But it, having gone through this process, I've obviously learned that some of the last 17, I think it was 4 of the last 17, actually appeared on Return of the Jedi cards.
Right.
Then went to Tri logo, and then
they would have exclusively been from the Return of the Jedi films, wouldn't they? So
they would have been, yes. So it's interesting that they were called the last 17 figures, I suppose, because they didn't. Obviously, they all came out. Some of them came out on different cards later on down the line. So yeah, I'll do a bit more research for that next time, and if anybody's watching can shed a bit more light on that subject, that'd be great, because it'd be really interesting to know. Yeah. I should really read my Read 5 book, shouldn't I?
Yeah, well, yeah, it would help.
But it's taken such a long time to get through it. It'll be months before I get to that section.
It's a big book. I mean, you put your back out just lifting it every time, so you got to be careful.
Exactly. So the second figure I picked up was another last 17 1984 Lumat Ewok figure. This was also a no COO and was UKG graded 85%. And this one cost me £140. So, expensive, yes, but if you look at some of the prices that I've seen these go for online, that's a pretty good deal. And I had to snap the hand off of Another League Toys, Dan at Another League Toys, when he was offering them to me. So really, really happy to get this one.
Do you two chat just every week? Do you just sort of
get
in touch with him? You just do you ever take him out for dinner?
No. What tends to happen, Adam, is say paydays on a Thursday.
Yeah.
About
Dan
Friday
rings you
morning,
up on a Friday.
No, Friday morning I'm sweating, and I'm like, I wonder if Dan's got anything. So I'm like, I'm scrolling through it, WhatsApp, and I'm finding his number, and I'm like, here's my list. Dan, don't suppose you got anything? And he comes back with some absolutely beautiful pictures that I can't say no to. And then if I've got the cash, I'll do a little bundle deal with him, or sometimes I just picked up one or two, or just one. But there's one I'm looking at the moment with him, but we won't go to that until another time. But
okay.
Yeah, so yeah, really happy to get Lumat.
We should see if Dan is willing to come on and tell us all the truth of this.
He's probably on holiday, to be honest with you, because he's got all this money to spend.
Yeah, we should speak to him anyway. Sorry, carry on.
No. I was saying I wanted to get a few last 17 if I could at reasonable prices, because I think it's Rob Kenobi specifically has been commenting. You got to get some of the big boys, and I know strictly these aren't the big boys, but when you get into the last 17 territory, they are starting to become a bit more pricey. So yeah. The next figure I picked up was a 1985 Barada. He's also a no COO, and he's UKG graded 85%, and he cost me the grand total of £145. So expensive, yes, but at the same time, looks beautiful, stunning. I need to get him. I should add as well, though, these three figures, Lumat, Paplu, and Barada, are three figures I never owned as a kid.
Right.
Never owned any of them, and I have to be honest, as a kid, I didn't really know they existed, to be honest. I probably saw them, but I didn't know they were Star Wars figures, or didn't put two and two together, because I think once Return the Jedi carded figures had come out, and perhaps some of the Tri logos, I don't ever recall seeing a Power of the Force card ever as a kid.
No.
So yeah, it's nice to have some of these figures that I never had.
By 1985 or 1985, are you still collecting then, or still?
Well, I still had almost. I was probably still playing with them, but I guess I'd moved on to something else. Although I never moved on from Star Wars, so I can't recall, but I genuinely, don't remember ever going into a toy shop. Not that we went into many toy shops, but ever seeing a Power of the Force card and saying, "Oh, must get that." But that could have been for any number of reasons. But so most of the last 17, I don't really recall at all
owning.
So the last of the last 17 that I've got this week is a 1985 Imperial Dignitary. He's a no COO, and he's UKG graded 90% gold. And he, I mean, again, hopefully you'll be seeing the video right now, but he is the color. He's this lovely purple color. The figure, and his
Hmm.
paint looks absolutely spectacular. And one thing I've learned about this figure, he's renowned for having nose rub. Um,
Yes, I've heard that a few times
yeah,
recently. Yeah,
exactly. It's quite a, you get into the community and you watch a few videos and it becomes
yeah,
quite apparent that nose rub is a big thing for this imperial
yeah,
dignitary.
yeah,
And because it's a 90% gold, I guess, this figure is absolutely mint. It's
yeah.
absolutely mint. It's probably I mean, it doesn't come with weapons or accessories or anything, and it's a really boring figure. It's a bit like the Emperor and
Mm,
Anakin Skywalker. It's quite rigid, but there's something about the colors of the figure, and the fact that, again, it was one I never had as a kid. I love this figure so much. So yeah, really, really chuffed to get this. Now, the cost of this one, bearing in mind it's a 90% gold, £145,
wow.
um,
Yeah,
which I think is probably bargain of the week, because I've seen these
yeah. I
go
think so.
for north of £175. So
Oh wow.
to
Yeah,
£200. That's just some of them I've seen. I mean, I'm sure the action figure grader would probably be able to give us
shed
more
some light.
accurate,
Like,
up to date news on how much they cost. But it was
yeah.
it, it's a real. I'm really happy to have this one, and
Well,
I'm really glad I picked it up at a good price.
definitely. Yeah. I was going to say. I think it must help that there's no weapons involved with that one as well. Because when we were at Sandown, do you remember we were speaking to somebody? I can't remember who now. Might have been VTR
It was
Dave.
Boss.
And
No, it was Boss. It was
oh, it
Tim
was.
Bounty. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. We were
and
we were
yeah,
talking
wasn't he
about.
saying about the weapon costing more than the figure in some cases?
Yeah, I think it was either Luke Skywalker poncho or the Imperial Gunner. Is it? I think, yeah, the Imperial
Yeah, I
Gunner, one
think
of
it
the
was
last
Imperial
17.
Gunner. Mm,
And he said, well, the gunner's actually fairly easy to pick up at a reasonable price. It's the weapon that comes with him that's
mm,
the expensive part. So
yeah,
yeah, I think you're right, because this is the sort of figure that probably not many people picked up, ironically, because it doesn't have a weapon. It's
mm.
he's a boring character. You only see him very,
Yeah.
very
I
fleetingly
wouldn't
in the
even remember
background.
the scene. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
remember the scene with him in. So yeah,
So I think there's two scenes in Return of the Jedi you see him in, but he's always in the background. And
mm.
so yeah, yeah. Anyway, long story short, I'm really happy to have this one, and I think I got a bargain.
Definitely. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Um,
4 figures this week, did you say?
no, I've got a fifth and
Oh, you do
final.
have a
Yeah,
fifth.
fifth and final. Now this one isn't the last 17, but it's quite a pricey one and quite a difficult one to get in good condition. I've learned. Um, it's a
Okay.
1977 Princess Leia Organa. It's a no COO, UKG graded 80%,
Okay.
and it does have a paint grade, I believe, of 80%. Um, and when I looked at this figure, this one I bought from Sandown last November.
All
This
right.
isn't from
Been
another
been
league.
waiting a while to show this one off then.
Yeah. Sorry, did I say
Yeah.
September? It was November. I was there, wasn't
November.
it?
Yeah, you said November. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we've got quite a lot of making the grades because we haven't done one really for about 4 months, have we?
No,
I don't
not
think
really. No.
so. I've had a few pickups since then, and Christmas has obviously been and gone. But so yeah, this I picked this one up in at Sandown, and
Mm,
the thing about this figure is the torso, sorry, the arms and legs tend to discolor. I've learned
yeah.
from the color that the torso is. And the
Mm,
great thing about this one is, while you see a tiny bit of discoloring in the legs, the arms look pretty much perfect, which is probably
mm,
why it got the 80% paint grade. But when I saw it, and I saw how much an 85 or a 90 would be, and trying to stick to my new rule of not sticking to 85s and trying to go a bit lower if I can, I thought actually this looks really nice,
yeah.
as I'm sure people are seeing. So yeah, this is an 80% UKG graded, and it cost me £150. Um,
That's not bad then. Not
it's
bad.
the most expensive one that I'm going to feature in this episode, but when you look at the prices that this comes to,
Mm,
for a higher grade, just a 5% more higher grade, I think I picked up a beauty here. And
yeah.
this was, when I went to Sandown in November, I only had, I had some money with me, and I don't if you remember when we did a pickups video for it afterwards, I didn't actually pick anything up at all
That's
because I
right. Yeah,
bought a couple of
because you had
graded
this.
figures and it just wiped me out.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
so yeah, that's why I didn't have any pickups to show for that episode. But
Got you.
so yeah, really happy to have this one because obviously it's another one, another of the layers for the
Mm.
collection. It's quite an expensive one and not necessarily a difficult one to get hold of, but a difficult one to get hold of at a good price, I think. And yeah, obviously, the great thing about the toy fairs is you can negotiate, and I negotiated the guy down.
I
So
was going to ask. Yeah, I
yeah,
was going to ask if you
um,
managed to haggle a little bit.
yeah. Well, I bought two, and then so that gave me a bit more leeway to negotiate down. The other one
Yeah.
I bought up, we'll do in a future episode. But yeah, so yeah, I'm really happy. I mean, they're five this is probably of all the episodes we've done, this is probably the episode I'm most chuffed about because it's the most quality
Yeah.
and difficult to get hold
Yeah.
of figures, I would say maybe.
Yeah.
Um,
High. What's the word? Not priority. High
yeah,
value items. High value
yeah,
items, aren't they?
a good value in
But a
terms of
good
what I actually
price.
paid. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah.
Premium.
Overall,
Premium.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, yeah, I'm really happy, mate. That takes me up to what 59 figures now, I think.
59 figures, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll get
So
that graphic up, so you can all see sort of what Martyn's total cost is. You'll notice that I've removed the days from it because I haven't got a clue how long this has been going on for now, and I can't be bothered to work it out. So you've got the price and you've got the amount of figures. You can see how many he's picked up so far out of the 96. Otherwise, I think that's it for this week.
yep.
Hopefully you liked this one. If you did, hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and we'll catch you in the next one. I'll see you later.
Bye.